All right. We are here. We are here. We are here. So we're going to start this global happiness post summit 21-day happiness challenge that we are just flying along on. So we're going to modify some stuff, but so I've got JoAnna Brandi with me this morning, and she is going to be our host for the next 21 days to talk about really, I mean, she literally wrote a book on happiness. So it's 54 ways to stay positive in a changing and challenging, sometimes negative world, which is all about happiness. So welcome again, JoAnna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for kind of driving this challenge with us since you know, you kind of have such a depth of understanding and background in this. So what do we want to talk about today? We're going to kick it off today. We already have some stuff, and we're going to modify some stuff too. We're going to make it a little more fun. We are going to have points.
So we're gonna have points?
We're going to have points.
Oh, so I just got to chill. That's so much fun.
The points are a lot of fun. So how that's going to work is every time you post, every time you like something, every time you comment, you're going to get points. And we're going to work on getting the point system up later this afternoon. So we should by Thursday have the points so everybody can start seeing where you're at, but we just wanted to have fun with it, and we'll have some type of prize. We don't know what the prize is. We're going to make up a prize in the next 21 days and several prizes. We'll probably do weekly prizes and then a total prize, something fun. But yeah, definitely we're going to have points. So how do we want to kick it off today?
Well, I thought we might kick it off by talking about negative thoughts. Well, first, no, you know what? Let's talk about how this, because this is what we're basing it on, right? This little book. There's such a fun story about how it came into being. Let's start with the origin story before we get into the other stuff. I was giving a seminar in New Jersey for a client of mine a bazillion years ago. I mean, really, it's got to be 20 years now. It's just been a long time. And you know how people will raise their hand and sometimes ask a question. And I was teaching these people about taking better care of their customers, which is what I used to teach mostly. And I must have said something about how you have to work with your mind so that you don't have so many negative thoughts about, or when you're dealing with someone, especially an angry customer. That is so hard because you're just sitting there trying to do your job and boom, you're getting blasted. So I was very often asked to address, what do we do about that? And then how do we bounce back from that? And so whatever I was discussing, someone in the back of the room raised their hand, and I remember distinctly stood up and said, well, JoAnna, what do you do to stay positive in a negative world?
Oh, nice. They literally
a challenge, you know.
They really named the book for you right there.
They sort of named the book for me right there. And so I said, well, and I forget what I told her, you know, whatever I was doing at that time is what I told her. But this was a regular client. I was on retainer with them, and once a month we sent them, okay, I'm dating myself really. People might even not know what this is. Once a month we sent them an audio tape.
Oh, right. Yes.
You know, we called it a radio program, but it was actually
an audio tape. Nice.
So I bounced back. I told them whatever I knew. I bounced back really quickly. And I said, and next month, I'm going to tell you 13 ways to stay positive in a negative world in our audio tape. Well, so every month I would just
add to the list. Nice.
And then all of a sudden I kind of ran out of my own ways. It was like, oh my goodness, that's about all I know. So now I started asking all my friends, what do you do in a negative situation, a negative world, what have you? And so people started giving me things like that. And I started compiling this and carrying it with me. And went to a friend of mine who was a publisher at the time. And I said, what do you think? Think I have something here? He goes, good stuff, but it needs pictures. So I finished the manuscript.
And
I literally carried it in my briefcase for 4 years. And every time I went, at that point, I was still going to a lot of direct marketing conferences. So I was meeting a lot of people in the marketing business. Literally would talk to people. And if they said I'm a designer or something like that, I'd whip out the manuscript.
Right.
You know, and I kept doing it. And one day I found a guy that looked pretty good. And I had him do a few designs. And then I sent them to my daughter because that girl knows my heart. And she looked at me, she said, Mom, good illustrations, they don't fit with the book. They don't have your spirit. Just keep going. 4 years later.
Oh my gosh.
Literally carrying this manuscript for 4 years in my briefcase I'm down here in Florida and I'm sitting at a marketing meeting, and next to me sits down a beautiful woman by the name of JoAnna Goldsmith. Also, she's got the capital A in the middle of her name like I do, which is unusual. We start talking. She grew up in the same neighborhood I raised my daughter in. And then she said, well, I'm a branding expert and I'm an illustrator. And I whip out the manuscript. And that was it. She meditated.
Cool.
Every picture that you see in the book is a meditation. She sat down to meditate, and then she drew. And then when it came time to really finally, publish it, had another friend who we originally dedicated the book to. Her name was Toby Litt. And she said, I don't like it at all. I don't like the name at all. I said, well, it's 54 ways to stay positive in a negative world. She said, you're assuming it's a negative world.
Right.
But how can you make a statement like that? I have a beautiful world. And so it became in a changing, challenging, and sometimes negative world.
Right.
And my dear friend Toby passed away 20 years ago, but her daughter is a powerhouse. And her name is Tracy Litt. And she's out there, helping women become stronger, better business women. So it just, every time I pick up this book, it's like it has a lineage for me.
Right.
Of all of the people that have touched it, all of the people that have become part of it, and all of the friends that are in there that told me to stay positive. So that's why it's so much fun for me. So I like books with background. I like anything with a background, with a history.
And now we're expanding it. Now we're going to have a bunch of
we're
stories,
expanding it.
right?
And we're expanding it. So everybody that participates in this challenge is going to help build this.
Yes.
And build the next one. Maybe it'll be 54 ways.
I love.
But I think it's so important that we do it. It's not just a thinking thing. It's a doing thing. That said, I think the first thing that I'd like to talk about today is that letting go of negative thoughts.
Sure, of course.
We talked about this when you interviewed in the summit. We have somewhere between 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts a day. And it's estimated that 80% of those are negative and 95% of them are the same thoughts you had yesterday anyway. So what we do is we keep replaying this stuff in our heads, and we really need to become aware of it. We really have to have, let me change that. We really want to invite ourselves to challenge those thoughts, because they've become so habitual. And for many of us, they've been there for a really long time. So it's habitual when we drop something to go, oh, you're so clumsy, or, oh, you're so stupid, or, these things that we say to ourselves over and over again, that simply become self-fulfilling prophecies.
Right.
And I think it's so important that we go deep. I don't think change can happen at any level, whether it's in an organization or a family, if we aren't doing some kind of self-reflection.
Yes.
And so all day long we have negative thoughts. We have shoulds. One of the things in the book is don't should on yourself. I should get up and exercise. I should drink more water every day. Now those things may be true.
Right.
But as soon as you lay that burden of should rather than choice, comes from where? Choice comes from in here. I choose to drink this glass of water. I choose to take a sip of water every time I finish an email. I choose to walk around the block, even if I can't go a half a mile, or even if I can't go a mile, to make those smaller choices and get rid of the shoulds, because the shoulds are keeping us down.
Of course. Yes, totally.
I had a friend, I was very close with her for a while, as things will happen, we've drifted away. But for a long time, we used to talk about this kind of stuff. And one day she calls me up and she said, wait till you hear what I did. I said, what? She goes, well, you talk about getting rid of the negative thoughts. I decided to track my negative thoughts. I said, that's great. How did you do it? She said, I couldn't believe this. She said, I took a Sharpie and I wrote them all over my body.
Oh my gosh.
Time I had it. Yeah. Now there's a commitment to change. She took a Sharpie and she started on her arms.
Right.
That's what she could get to. And then she started on, by the end of the day, she was literally covered in ink, because that's what she said, well, I had to find out what was going on in there.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I can't believe the commitment. Got Sharpie, no less.
Yes. That took a while to get off.
Maybe waterproof or water soluble ink or something.
Right.
But it really drove home to me the fact that here, this woman was really committed to understanding what was going on under the surface that was causing what was happening in her life.
Right. And so part of it's kind of like I was on a show yesterday and we were talking about detoxification. So this is like detoxing, right? It's like writing down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is kind of like getting out, because the problem is, to your point, it's repetitive, it's a pattern, it's something that's in there all the time. So writing it down, at least we have awareness of what we're telling ourselves.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we're saying tear up, crumple. I'd even say burn it. I've heard that burning stuff can be
well, I do that a lot, actually.
Right.
I do that a lot. I believe that ritual is very important.
Mm-hmm.
I think I may have mentioned I studied for many years with a cross-cultural anthropologist.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of my thinking comes from cultures, that have Aboriginal cultures that have, all around the world. And fire is sacred. Fire is something very special. And so when you write these things down and rip them up and put them in the bowl, I use the spaghetti pot a lot because I want to be safe. I live in an apartment, so I take it out on my porch. I put the ceremonial spaghetti pot out.
Right.
And I take my lighter. And so but the symbolism of I'm letting this go. I'm giving this to a higher power. I'm powerless over these negative thoughts. Give me some help here. I think the symbolism is great. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of people don't want to mess with fire. It's okay. Rip it up, throw it away, put it in the toilet, flush it down. Whatever symbolism works for you.
Right.
It tells your body, it tells your being, I'm serious about this. I'm ready to let this go.
Mm-hmm.
And, 95% of our mind is unconscious to us.
Right.
And most of those negative scripts were implanted when we were very little.
Mm-hmm.
So, that first 7 years of life is so important. And for those of us who had voices that were corrective all the time, saying you're doing it wrong, you're so stupid, you're so clumsy, or whatever it is you heard over and over again, you implanted that as a belief. Mm-hmm. And you built your whole life around these beliefs that are not true. They're simply not true. So in order to create more of that positivity, in order to create more of that positive emotion, which we now know, scientifically proven, it makes us healthier, it helps us live longer, it makes us smarter, it builds our immune system, all of that stuff, all the stuff we want. In order to do that, for some of us, it's a real effort. I think you heard, I spoke about it, and I think Marcy Shimoff also spoke about the fact that we have a happiness set point, and I'm surprised that more people don't talk about it. To me, that's the issue. Mm-hmm. Some people aren't born happy. I was not. Mm-hmm. And so for me, happiness is something like anything else. I practice my writing so that I become a better blogger or a better writer. I work on my speeches so I become a better speaker. I have to work on my happiness so that I can be a better person and bring a larger positive vibration to the world. Makes sense?
Yep, totally. And that's why we're doing this, right? And that's why
that's why we're doing this.
Yes, and that's why we invited you to be a part of that. So we're going to try to keep it fairly simple. There's 21 days, thus the 21-day challenge.
That's 21 days.
Each day JoAnna's working on modifying some stuff. So we're going to change up some of the days, change up what we're doing on the days, but day one is day one. And day two is day two. And so you can start with those 2 days, and then we'll have.
We've got we've got the first 7 days are absolutely solid. First 7 days are absolutely solid. Perfect. I just sent in. I only have 3 more left. I wanted to do a little. The perfectionist in me wanted to do a little bit. Yeah, a little bit different.
And thank you for that. Okay. Thank you for that. So the first 7 days are baked. So we're going to make it simple. So literally just shoot a picture of maybe the crumpled up paper, maybe shoot a picture of your list, shoot a picture of you burning it, whatever makes sense for you, or just simply put a post on, here's what I found out here. I was surprised to learn. So, and we're going to put this in the main feed, some suggestions, but basically just show your interaction with the day. And so we're going to make it super easy. I will guarantee you at the end of 21 days, you're going to have a different perspective on life because you're focused on it. It's kind of like if you were working out for 21 days or drinking water for 21 days or detoxing for 21 days. Focusing on happiness for 21 days, you're going to learn a lot about yourself. And you're going to have a different perspective when we come out the other side of this. So we want to make it easy, and then we'll auto calculate the points. So you'll get points again for sharing something that you post. You'll get points for liking somebody's post. You'll also get points for commenting on somebody's post. And so really it's just an activity, what I want to call it, just an activity contest, if that makes sense.
And I think when I'm going to add another level of challenge.
Sure, go for it.
I think it's so much easier to do this when your friends are doing it too.
Oh, I love it. Yes. Yeah,
so
definitely.
What about if everybody, there's a friend, tell a friend.
Yes.
Tell a friend. I mean,
let's spread this around.
I made a mistake. I don't know why I did it. It's because there were clouds in the sky and I wanted to know the weather. I actually turned the television on last night during the nightly news.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God. There's so much negativity out there and then it gets, blasted out to everybody. We need a positive wave, a big wave of positivity, because it does change things. And there are all kinds of experiments that have been done. I think the first one was called the Maharishi experiment, that when people meditate and get on the same vibe, and that vibe is to reduce crime in a certain 10-block area or something like that, that the crime goes down in that 10-block area. So with the intention, and I think this needs to be very intentional, with the intentional of sending out this giant wave of positivity. You know what I call it. You've heard me say before, the positive spillover effect. Yeah. Let's get the positive spillover effect going. Tell your friends to tell their friends, put together a group and let's put some energy behind this.
I agree 110%. And you can actually, right from the app or from the desktop version, you can actually go to the 3 lines at the top on the left side, and it'll pull up the menu and it shows like home, discovery, members, invite. You can just click on invite and you can invite your contacts. You can send an email, you can send a text message, or you can send via Facebook or other apps. Oh yeah. Oh yes. So you can do that right from.
You mean I've been sending, because I've been doing this with email.
Oh no, well, you can still do it by email, but that's a quick and fast way. So you can simply click on any of those and share it. But again, it's free. We want to make it free for our community, and so do share this. You can copy the link. You can share it so easily by text, Facebook, contacts, email, however you want to do that. But let's share it. Let's get some momentum. Let's get some people involved, and let's even if there's just 1,000 of us here, let's create a happy bubble of 1,000 people, and that has a big ripple. You think 1,000 people?
It does, because we also know that emotions are contagious, and that's going to ripple out to 2 or 3 people.
Exactly. So yes, I agree. Let's kick this thing off, and then JoAnna and I will be back each week to check in, talk about what's going on. We'll probably comment on some of the comments that we're seeing in the feed as well, live next week when we meet again. And so each week, and then we'll be interfacing. Myself, Maria will be posting stuff on there. JoAnna will as well. So yes, get involved, get active, invite your friends. Let's have some and have some fun with it, right? That's what this is about.
Well, that's what it's about. I took a picture last night when I was walking on. I saw that last night. I was walking on the beach last night. I'm like, this is my happy place. The sky is
nice. Yes.
And one of the things about happiness is when you get to that spot, the pink sky, savor it. Don't walk past it. Stand there, soak it in, feel it. How does it make you feel when you see the beautiful pink sky at the end of a busy day? I think we're rushing through our lives so quickly that this is going to give people the opportunity to make time for positivity, to make time for happiness, and then to savor how they feel when they do it.
Exactly.
That's the other part of this. We don't want people to just post. We want people to feel and then share what they're feeling. And then we all get to share in that.
Yes. And that can, and we've already started to see shares in the community, and it doesn't have to be happy shares. It can be like, here's where I'm dealing with, and then let the community support those things. So share share absolutely. Truly, to your point, share what you're feeling, and then let's process that. Let's all kind of be in this together.
That's absolutely. And I know you and I will be in there on a daily basis, taking a look and seeing what's going on. I think that's the way to do it. I think that's definitely the way to, I know I'm going to get moving. I've been a little slow about getting it all out, and I'm going to get moving and get some of my clients on board and see if they'll rally the troops. I mean, I think that's a great thing to be able to do.